It really does feel like everything is designed to piss us off. I mean, like, it really feels that way.
Have you felt unusually mad, irritated, or just plain pissed off almost all of the time these days? And you can't exactly figure out why, but you just know that you feel it. Well, I kind of have been in the same position for an extended period of time as well, and I don't think I'm the only one. In our current time period, in our collective society, I feel like there's a general energy and zeitgeist in the air that just screams
Is Zeitgeist in the air?
irritation. Like we're constantly mad, on edge, or just pissed off at everyone and everything. And then by the end of the day, we kind of just have to swallow it all and just hold it in or just go on some social media rant like you're watching right now. And I've been really thinking about this notion because I generally do believe there has been a collective vibe shift, emotional shift, I guess ever since 2020, ever since that happened, right?
I think even before 2020, I think 2020 was like, we need to be scared of everything. Like, instead of it being more, everything's pissing us off, it felt like everything needs to scare us. Like, not only is COVID scaring us, but like, we need to be scared of everything.
And I don't think we've actually recovered even until now. So
No.
I sat back and thought, am I just becoming an old grump, almost like everybody else these days? But younger generations also feel it. They're also collectively numbed out, irritated, and pissed off almost all the time.
They also have like no hope. The young generation seems like they have no hope in like humanity or society or the job market. It seems like they just have no hope in anything as well.
And I had to really sit down and think very carefully of, is this just my personal life, emotions, and brain? Do I need to go to therapy? Do I need to dive more into self-help to read the same thing over and over and then nothing gets resolved? Well, I've sat with it enough on social media and off of social media to actually kind of come to a conclusion. And the conclusion is, I think everything now is designed to piss you off. Like, think about
Let's
it.
see
Back in
why.
the day, what I mean by back in the day is what, 30 years ago in the 2000s, and
That's still
of
back in the
course,
day.
every decade before then. When you thought about movies and pop culture and music, do you automatically think, I'm mad? It pisses me off to actually think about that. No,
So 30 years ago, I was not born. So I don't know. But anyone over 30, you tell me. You tell me. Actually, I'm 33. So technically, I was 3 years old. But, I wasn't thinking about this kind of stuff back
every
then.
other decade had some sort of music movement, movies, and pop culture that generally gave you something in return that was positive, right? The only reason why people actually showed up to the movies with their family or friends was because they wanted to have a good experience together. Why you would choose to go to a concert doesn't even matter who it is so you can have a good experience. Even if
I think when it comes to movies and concerts specifically now, I don't think those things are designed to piss us off. I think those two things at least are fine, in my opinion. I mean, I think people go to the movies to see a good movie, and people go, I guess you could say like horror maybe would like piss us off, but and then a concert, like you don't go to a concert to get mad. I'd say there's plenty of other examples, like social media
you're seeing
specifically.
a band or an artist that screams into the microphone, whether it's new metal, punk, rock, or anything else, you came there with your friends or you met new ones so you could scream together in righteous fury together, right? Think about the type of entertainment and content that floods our feeds every single day on our phone, on our TV, and anything that has speakers and a screen. Everything now almost feels like it's absolutely intentionally designed to make you angry. For the easiest examples is like the current state of influencer culture, right? Either you have a bunch of people going on shopping hauls, paying and spending ridiculous amounts of money on stuff that actually nobody cares about, but it pisses people off. Maybe
I don't think the intention there with creating that influencer content is to piss us off. I think it just ends up pissing us off. I think because we've all gotten away from, the influencer era, I guess, where people actually liked influencers and they look up to influencers, they want to be like them. That's why it's pissing us off now. I don't think the content is made. The influencer doesn't wake up in the morning and say, I can't wait to piss off my followers today. Like, I don't think that's what's happening.
it's another sub niche of beautiful people telling you how to look beautiful and you don't look good enough, so you should look smacks and look better, right? Or constantly kind of telling you that you're not enough in a lot of ways. And even then, the content that tells you how to be good enough also is done in a way that's very condescending and lecturing, which, in my opinion, is quite irritating. But let's go to even, for example, the current state of social media pranks, right? Everybody has those little, what do you call, Ray-Ban meta glasses that has cameras in them. And what's the first thing that people do with them? Harass others in public, right? I'm guilty of
But I mean, I guess that's not the Meta Glasses' fault. But these people doing these pranks, the number one thing I cannot stand on earth are pranks. I hate pranks. I hate pranks. I hate pranks. They're so stupid.
watching all of these too because they are, what do you say, mindlessly entertaining as well. But oftentimes it is some kid or even grown adults now that wear these Ray-Bans, go out in public, and then just make an absolute nuisance of themselves, irritating people, throwing gallons of milk on the floor, trying to piss people off. And
So the reason that so what happens is those kinds of videos get engagement. So people make those videos not to quote unquote piss people off. They make them to get the engagement. It could be people talking about how they like the video, a lot more people probably talking about how they hate the video. The video is going to get engagement. People are striving for engagement. So it ends up becoming that everything's trying to piss us off because those videos that piss us off get engagement. So it's mainly about engagement. I think the question that we need to ask ourselves is, why does engagement come from videos that we hate, or like things we hate watch, or things that piss us off?
And in return, they post it on social media to piss off a bunch of strangers online. And then in return, you have a bunch of strangers in the comments writing comments to piss other strangers
Exactly.
off.
See, yeah.
Which inevitably becomes this endless Ferris wheel, this endless treadmill of absolute anger with everybody involved, from the influencer themselves in real life to the people that they're pranking, to the strangers online observing and consuming it, and then the conversations within the comment section are purposefully aimed just to infuriate each other. Why? You probably know why. Because obviously, this is common knowledge now, anger, irritation, and negative emotions in general are the number one emotions to basically breed engagement.
Didn't I say?
The number one thing that makes people want to watch something or comment on it or even share it is stuff that pisses people off. There was a period of time, and it still happens, but not to the extent that anger does, where sending something funny, some cat, playing with a laser pointer, or, just really dumb.
I think it's because it's easier to scroll past something that you're like, oh, that's funny, or oh, that's cute. But something that makes you mad, you're more likely to be like, no, 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 I need to tell this, like, I need to voice my anger for this. And you'll notice it when you go through social media and you're scrolling through your Instagram feed. Like, that is a big thing.
Skits in general, we used to send those things to each other. Now we send reels about the end of the world. Everybody does it now. And
Yeah, it's pretty
it shows
morbid.
in the numbers. Any content creator will even tell you. People that aren't even content creators that just go on social media and post, they will actually also agree. The stuff that generally gets the most clicks are things that kind of make you mad, even if the content itself isn't really even aimed to make you mad, right? Like, for example, like what? Attractive people on social media. That generally does piss people off, even though they're
Why?
pretty, they have an amazing body, or they, whatever. Generally, the emotion that stirs to a lot of people is some sort of jealousy, envy, or just plain
Okay, true. Yeah, yeah. Jealousy, envy. I guess you could also probably be annoyed because it's like, you're probably using filters. You're editing your pictures. You're, being misleading. You didn't actually drink that flat tummy tea to look like that. You have plastic surgery that you're not exposing. Like, I think it's a lot of
hatred
that
from
combined.
both genders, right? I wanted to try to figure out what is the current state of the world and why are we constantly feeling like this? This is just about what social media content and influencers, but I would argue that this goes even further. So let's just ignore dumb social media influencers even for a second, because they're impossible to ignore. Let's go to what? Mainstream media. Let's go to professional media outlets in general. What do they choose to report on? Generally, it's not stuff that makes you feel really good about yourself or the state of the world or people in general. It's stuff that's written with a specific headline that makes you feel, oh my God, another end of the world event happening now. Oh my God, everyone's dying from a heat wave.
Because I think you end up wanting to, because a lot of that stuff seems like a warning almost, and you're like, well, what's going on? Like, I have to know about it to like stay safe, to make sure I'm like, I can avoid it. Like, I think it's almost like a safety mechanism where you're like, I need to watch out, versus a like good story. If you see it, like if you hear it or don't hear it, like it's whatever, who cares? It can just go, your day can go on. It's not a big deal. If you feel like you're missing something, like a news story where it's like, oh, monkeypox is here. You're like, oh crap. Like, I got to prepare. I got to watch out. Like, I can't be the one who doesn't know about this. And then, then the monkeypox will get me.
Oh my God, people don't want to get AC. Those are just current event examples. But in general, you'll hear about a war, you'll hear about a shooting, you'll hear about a robbery, you'll hear about what's really popular now is blaming an ethnic group for the world's issues. But surprise, surprise, humans are the problem.
Literally.
You can subdivide every type of person or group you want, but generally we are kind of the issue. And that's just for what? Professional mainstream media. We've kind of already known that. When we went to social media before, it was to actually get a form of entertainment that stayed away from Hollywood and whatever corporate news outlets are there, because that stuff generally is not that entertaining and it doesn't really make you feel good. So before, we actually just watched normal, bedroom YouTubers and whatever else you would call. But now all of that is being bought out and everybody's just kind of doing the same thing. Corporate media is trying to act like influencers. Influencers are now trying to act like corporate media.
Well, because so I feel like more corporate media is trying to act like influencers because influencers are getting the most eyes, the most engagement. Like people aren't really watching mainstream media anymore. So they're wondering, okay, what are the tactics that Instagram, influencers are using to get the eyes on them? And they're like, okay, we need to use that for our news channels so that we can get the engagement back on us. They're trying to like engagement farm from each other. It's just bad.
Right? Because honestly, content kind of just barreled and funneled into just one singularity now where everybody is kind of doing the exact same thing as the next person, potentially, I was going to say with a different face, but everyone's beginning to look the same too.
Same face,
But
yep.
I've seen many, famous YouTubers and Instagrammers and social media personalities that just go straight now into politics. And they're essentially a relatable news reporter, right? You can argue that I'm one now, but a lot of OG YouTubers and people, they generally just end up pivoting to politics because it gets the most engagement and it is about the current state of the world, where before you would just turn on the TV and just watch some propaganda, but now the
thing too with the political content is you get a lot of engagement on the political content because, let's say you're on one side or the other. Okay, let's say you're Republican or Democrat, right? So if you do like Republican like type content, the Democrats are yeah in your comments, right? Same thing, vice versa. Also, in the comments, each side will start fighting with each other over whatever you're talking about. So when people are going back and forth with each other, that's just more and more and more engagement.
what do you call the relatable YouTubers themselves are kind of being some variation, an arm of propaganda themselves without even realizing it, to be honest. And again, the topic is about irritation and anger. Like nobody's going to click on some video about a guy covering a new bill, a new law that passed for a new sidewalk in Tulsa, Oklahoma, right?
Yeah,
like
we
no
don't
one's
care.
gonna care, but they will cover what a data center blowing up the world here and somebody dying over here. And
Well, okay, but see so because the difference is if a data center blows up, that could affect my life. That I have to watch out for that. Especially if it's like local news. There's a data center that blew up. Where? How can I avoid it? Is there, are there chemicals in the air? I don't know. I'm just making stuff up now. But that's like I said, I feel like it's a safety mechanism thing where you're like, I have to watch out. I have to know about these things so I can avoid it. Versus like, oh, a new bill for a new sidewalk in Tulsa. It's like, that doesn't affect me. There's no effect on my life with that story. So I don't need to hear about it.
people shooting things here. So in the end, the thing that spikes up the most, attention as humans are stuff that just infuriate you. So you might be hearing all this and being like, well, then just turn off the TV and don't consume content. Okay, easy. I did that for a bit of time too, and I'm sure everybody's tried it, and maybe you are right now and you just only watch YouTube. And I will say, it does cut out like 70% of the irritations of modern daily life because you don't have a bunch of random strangers screaming at you in this portal that you have in your pocket. So that's a huge advantage. But there are a lot of elements in daily life now that require you to constantly be integrated with the current state of the world and technology. Think about this. When you need to pay for something now, right? And everything's an iPad, and then you scan Apple Pay or you try to look for a credit card because I guess nobody in the West really wants to deal with cash anymore. But the moment you do that, you're going to be, you're going to be confronted with four screens basically asking if you want to tip the person that didn't really do anything at the cashier place because the iPad did everything. It's going to ask if you want to tip extra, right? And it will.
So with the tipping thing, with a lot of places use the Square system. So with Square, the tip option comes up automatically. It's automatically ingrained in like their system. So a lot of places they just sign up for this Square, payment processing system, and the tip thing already comes up, and it is optional. Now, I'm sure some places in the back of their mind are like, "Oh, great, people will tip since this option comes standard." I don't know that 100% of them are like thinking we are required. We hope that everybody tips. I think it's just a setting that they have that's on that they're like, well, we'll leave it on because if they don't want to tip, they'll say no. They do. They'll put in money. It's a win-win, right? So I think when people say like, I can't believe the option popped up on the iPad, I do push back on that a little bit because, I don't think that they are going to go out of their way to turn it off because if someone wants to leave a tip, we'll give them the option to, and they probably personally don't feel like that you have to do it or they expect you to do it. It's just an option that they're like, we'll have on there. But definitely in some scenarios, like the tipping thing has gotten way out of hand. I'm probably going to do a video on it at some point. It has become nuts at some of these places. There's a video of a girl saying that she she does hair. She includes the tip in her price. Excuse me? No, you set your price and I choose to tip you. You don't put the tip in your price. And it's so funny because no one's going to go to her anymore after saying that on the internet. Like,
Start
what a
at like
dummy.
now, what, 25% for an $8 coffee.
That's absolutely
an $8
insane.
latte with 25% tip, and you have to click
Also, the lattes, they're getting out of hand with the tipping. It's insane.
the thing. And then before or right after you click and you tip the person for just showing you a screen, you're going to be met with what, an email registration, because with every little action you take in the modern world, you need to be harvested for your data as well. So you see the thing
Harvested,
and it's
yep.
like, I don't really want to sign my email, but goddamn, it's a 10% off deal. And every cent matters in this economy. So I'm just going to give them a spam email of mine that I don't use just to sign up. Because the moment you do sign up, your email every single day is going to be filled with chat GPT marketing scripts about their $8 new matcha tea lattes.
I was just cleaning my email. There's so many emails. Like, I think I have like 200,000 because it's all junk. It's all just junk. Buy this, hey, we have a new menu item. Hey, do this, buy this. Just everything is like, spend your money, spend your money, spend your money. Look at me, do this. Like, it's so much. It's so much.
And that's just for if you want to get a coffee in real life and pay with a phone or whatever. But what about getting your food delivered, right? Or just getting stuff delivered? It is honestly, 100 times more convenient to get stuff delivered to your door and shop online.
I
I
love
don't
it
even
way
care
too
what anybody
much.
says, because when I was living in America at the time, I remember I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to try to kick it old school, as the unks would say, right? And then I would get in my car and then I would drive to whatever store. Let's just, for example, say the mall. Remember when the mall was popular? This
I
was
remember.
along the time of
RIP.
the last legs of the mall, but I would end up driving on accident for an extra hour, even though it was only
Why?
20 minutes away, because I got in the car and I was stuck in traffic.
Oh, got it.
And
Okay.
then, being stuck in traffic, I'm realizing my gas meter is going lower and lower to near
Ruh-roh.
empty, so you have to pull over and then get gas. Oh my god, gas is $5 to $6 now. Jeez. Okay, so now I am out $50 when I just wanted to go to the mall and buy a new shirt. And then eventually you get to the mall and they don't even have your size in your shirt. So then you end up going to different stores in the mall, and half of them are
I mean, that's your fault, bro. Just buy it online. What are we doing? Don't, and have your gas tank full. Why is your gas tank empty? That seems like a you problem, no?
closed because they can't profit at all in this economy. So then you just wasted half a day trying to look for something simple for shopping online. So you realize, you know what? The easiest way to get this done is to literally just sit at home and order a shirt off Amazon and then
Yes.
give you more of your hard-earned money to billionaires, and then you actually get your stuff delivered. But it's not that easy sometimes, because sometimes the app itself has some problems. And then all of that stuff adds up as well, because everybody
I mean, if you're letting an app issue affect your day, like you've got to limit the things that let you get upset. I understand like the social media stuff. I understand the media, the traditional media, that things he was talking about. But when it comes to like the app messing up or you going to the mall to get a shirt, I mean, bro, you got to chill out.
is doing side gigs and side hustles, door dashing, Ubering, and now people are not getting paid nearly as much. So on their end, they're irritated because they just drove 5 miles to deliver a burrito, and they're only getting paid $1.75 for that.
Hold on. That's their dumbass fault for becoming an Uber Eats driver. Don't talk to me about, oh, they only got this much or this much. Okay, that's what happens when you sign up to be an Uber Eats or a DoorDash driver. You get the money that I give you or the cut that the company gives you. Oh, don't be mad. You chose this job. Like, okay, now I'm getting mad. See, now this video is pissing me off. Jeez. Okay, well, like, comment, and subscribe. The video is always in the description. Love you. Bye.